Ahimsa satyam akrodha tyagah shantihi apaishanam daya bhuteshu mardavam achapam.
Namaskar and welcome to this special conversation on Indian knowledge system and the future of education. Today we are privileged to have with us a voice that bridges tradition and contemporary thought. So Abhigya ji, it is our pleasure to have you with us today. For our listeners, could you briefly introduce yourself and share what has drawn you so deeply towards Indian knowledge system?
Dhanyavad ji, and absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here. It has been a great time here at Parul University. And to introduce myself, I've just been a humble student of Jyotisha over the last 10 years. I first got introduced to it at the age of 10, before which Gita was the guiding light. My parents, especially my mother, should be credited for introducing me to the Bhagavad Gita, which was the monumental event for me that actually brought me into everything else. Bhagavad Gita to Sanskritam, and from Sanskritam to Jyotisha. I love Sanskritam, I love Bharatiya Vijnanas, and I'm also very enthusiastic about science in general. I really love Jyotisha since it helps me understand the world better. History has always been my favorite subject, something that I've been deeply interested in. Why do certain events happen? That's always been my curiosity, topic of curiosity. So that led me to Jyotisha naturally, because you really want to know why world wars happen, why there have been starvation, periods of starvation, why has there been so much suffering and disease during certain periods of time. So yes, that is what led me to Jyotisha.
Yeah, thank you. IKS are often perceived as ancient wisdom. How would you explain Indian knowledge system in today's academic content, especially to education and students?
Yes, in today's context, I feel humanity has evolved exponentially over the last, say, 400 years, specifically over the last 200 years. The kind of advancements we've made are absolutely amazing. But we must not forget that our ancestors laid the foundations for these achievements. Forgetting that would be like letting go of a significant piece of history. And especially our Bharatiya ancestors had put in a lot of effort to bring us where we are. I need not even go into that deeply. Every one of us know the contributions of the rishis and the munis, who are deeply spiritual, at the same time handed down to us fundamental and foundational facets of what we call modern science today. Modern science is simply the evolution of what they laid. Ayurveda is the precursor to modern medicine. Modern medicine is an absolutely amazing thing that has happened to humanity, and Ayurveda laid the foundations for that. And it still has some lessons for modern medicine. In fact, Indian knowledge systems can also give an ethical background and a moral background. It can be value addition. It can even teach value sciences to students, so they don't lose sight of their principles as a Bharatiya. Our principles are rooted in the Bhagavad Gita. Ahimsa satyam akrodha tyagah shantihi apaishanam daya bhuteshu mardavam prihi achapalam. These are some qualities, beautiful qualities: cleanliness, straightforwardness, fearlessness, and so many more qualities, and compassion that have been mentioned in our scriptures and continuously echoed over the last several millennia. So it's very important for students to stay grounded at that and learn the principles of our Shastras, the Indian knowledge systems, while of course flying flying around the globe and educating everyone else about our Shastras, and at the same time being experts in modern sciences as well. It's possible, unlike certain other fields wherein studying a religious text can sometimes deviate you from your progress. In the Bharatiya Vijnana Paddhatis, studies of Vedic systems will only help you in other fields of study. Sanskritam will really help the brain and the mind, its activity. A study of the Bhagavad Gita would make your mind think deeper and more creatively, would help you think in a multifaceted manner. And studying Tarka and Vyakarana would also give you a really deep understanding of our philosophical foundations as a country, as a civilization. So it's always going to be complementary.
So, National Education Policy 2020 places a significant emphasis on integrating Indian knowledge system in higher education. So from your perspective, why is this integration so important at this point in India's educational journey?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, it gives a philosophical grounding to the students, and at the same time, certain aspects of the Indian knowledge systems, for example, allow students to understand the core tenets of Ayurveda. They allow them to understand why a spiritual life is important to an extent and how we can anchor ourselves to it, which is lacking in many countries of the world, which is why there are serious mental health problems. Giving a background in Indian knowledge systems can help reduce mental health problems, and I think the government as well as the university, faculty such as you are doing an excellent job in bringing this about. The national education policy will also be helpful in bringing true history back for the students. So far, at least when I was, when I looked at the textbooks the last time 10 years back, they were really very dry and were full of inferiority complexes. And today, we are really bringing out the real history that Bharata has faced so that we don't repeat the mistakes we made earlier. And I think the national education policy is instrumental in doing that. And I'm very happy to see it being implemented so well. Katie.
And the last question, you have interacted with faculties and students during your visit to Parul University. So could you share your experiences and reflections, particularly on how institutions like Parul University can play a role in advancing Indian knowledge system under NEP 2020?
Absolutely, as I think it's been a wonderful time here speaking with different faculty. They all seem to be driven, motivated about bringing this into the public sphere. And I think educational institutions are very important because that's where an individual is shaped. Schools, colleges and universities. And university is where they now exit into the real world. They engage with society. So at this stage, if it's introduced these foundational concepts, it's really, really helpful. And here at Parul University, I see that happening. And a lot of students are also very interested in understanding the ancient sciences. And those of them who are more interested in modern sciences are also, at least, a lot of them appreciate the philosophical depth that is present in the Bharatiya systems. So that's very nice to see. And it's very nice to see it being implemented very well.
So thank you so much, Priya Bigyananji, for accepting our invitation and visiting Parul University.
Thank you so much. Same here.